Welcome to the Vibrant Soulful Wellness Podcast. This is your podcast for ideas, practices, and strategies for living and working more vibrantly and soulfully. And I'm your host, Annie Barrett. I work with individuals, groups, and workplaces toward higher well-being and greater fulfillment using tools like coaching, lifestyle medicine, habit change science, mindfulness, Ayurveda, and yoga. And I'm glad you're here. In today's episode, which is the first episode of 2026, we're going to talk about willpower and how willpower, while we think it's the key to the habit change of things we want to change and get done in the month of January, I want to share why it might not be the key and what actually helps instead. So I don't know about you, but it feels kind of like January, it's all about motivation. It's all about willpower. Let's have strength of mind. Let's follow through. Let's have discipline. And surely we show up in January after December where we were eating cookies and sweets and richer meals, and we say, hey, we're strong enough. We can resist sugar. We can eat more fruits and vegetables. I'm sure we can get to the gym 3 times a week. And maybe we end up getting new gym clothes, a new yoga mat, maybe a new Instant Pot or a new cookbook. And so early on in January, it really feels like we can do anything. We can crush our goals. And yet pretty soon it's going to be February. And a lot of us will notice, myself included, that the motivation that we had at the beginning of 2026 kind of slips away. People who work in gyms say, hey, everyone shows up in January and by February, cardio machines, you can get one. You can't get one in January, but you can get one in February. And we just recognize that the habits that we've had have momentum because they're familiar, they're comfortable. And the things that we've been doing over and over again require less effort than change. And so when our high motivation starts to fade, when our willpower fades, as it inevitably is going to, we can just assume that something's gone wrong. We think, oh my gosh, I didn't try hard enough. I am lazy. I lack discipline. Hey, what if that story isn't actually true? And so here's my personal example. It's early in the month of January still. It's the beginning of the year. And I feel motivated to start a weightlifting routine at the gym. I'm going to be 55 at the end of this month. I know strength training is important for my bone density, for my bone health, for my longevity. And a part of me genuinely wants to do this. Part of me sees myself at the gym lifting weights. But guess what? There's another part of me that does not want to do this at all. There's another part of me that hates the gym, likes the yoga studio, likes to go on walks in the woods, but doesn't like the gym. Why? Because frankly, the gym feels intimidating. I don't really know what to do with the free weights or with those exercise machines. I know it's going to take effort. And I'm going to have to rearrange my weekly schedule and routine to make it happen. Honestly, a part of me would just as soon stay home, do something else. If you're someone who feels like, wow, it's going to take a lot of effort and willpower to do something, I get you because it feels like that for me for going to the gym. And wow, it would be so easy just to say, hey, I guess I'm lazy. Annie's lazy. But what if that's not it? What if I'm not lazy? And what if willpower is not actually the missing ingredient for getting me to the gym? What if there's another way that we approach change altogether? As a coach, I know that willpower alone doesn't lead to sustainable habit change. I already had several coaching sessions with clients this week, and everybody has some goal that they're looking to crush, whether it's financial, whether it's an eating goal, whether it's a getting stronger goal. And all of them have a part of them that really wants to change and another part of them that doesn't want to. And oftentimes we've been taught that habit change works like this. We're just going to decide what we want. We're going to try harder and we're going to push through resistance. And this assumes that we are a single unified self, that every single part of us want to make it to the gym 3 times a week. And that's frankly not true. It also assumes that we have endless energy and motivation. I don't know about you, but I don't have endless energy and motivation. I've had 3 evening meetings this week, and those leave me feeling pretty sapped by the end of the day. And it also assumes that change happens through force, just push through it. But human beings don't actually work this way. We are complex. We're adaptive and we're also protective. And the behaviors that we have, the things that we do again and again, are shaped by what we've experienced. They're shaped by the stresses we've had. They're shaped by when we're tired, our fatigue. They're shaped by our past experiences and also our nervous system patterns. And so when resistance shows up like, hey, I don't really want to go to the gym, or I don't really want to follow through, or I just want to pop a frozen pizza into the oven, it's actually our bodies, our minds, our thoughts, the part of us that are saying, hey, I don't really want this. They're trying to keep us safe, comfortable, or regulated. And so when we have that resistance, we're like, why don't I just want to eat a salad right now? Why do I want to, binge on Netflix right now? Why don't I want to go to the gym? We can think that it's dysfunction, but it's actually not. It's information. And so this is where we get to update our idea of what habit change is and recognize that sustainable habit change isn't about force. That in fact, to change, we change in the context of feeling safe, like our nervous system has to feel okay about making the change. It also happens in the context of support. We have support for making the change, support in structure, support in relationships. And we have self-understanding. We recognize that not all of me wants to go to the pool, go to the gym, learn a new recipe, adopt a more plant-forward diet, whatever it is. We have understanding that we have conflicting parts. Some parts of us want change, and some parts of us are cautious. They're overwhelmed. They're protective. And when we ignore or override the parts of us that are cautious or overwhelmed or protective, then these actually push back harder. But instead, what if we get curious? What if we listen to our parts, listen to our nervous system, listen to our bodies instead of judging? Well, when we do that, something can actually shift. And approaching change can feel less like a linear line and more, there's more space. It can be more humane. There's more that's possible. We can be more creative about this. And so what I've found as a coach is that what actually helps habits stick isn't more willpower, it's support. And so I'm going to go back to what I said. I want to get to the gym. Part of me wants to get to the gym. Part of me doesn't. I already said that. So what is my solution for support? I am building a support squad. I have my husband and I have my adult sons. My adult sons are really familiar with lifting weights in the gym. They are not intimidated. They know what to do there. And so we've actually turned this into a family gym date. We're committing to go together. Together is easy. Going it alone is hard. Going to the gym together. And it's already started. I went with my son and we're taking it, or I'm going to say I'm taking it slowly. I'm just going to add a couple of new at a time because I'm not really familiar with a lot of the free weight exercises or the machines. So I'm just going to take a couple of exercises at a time. And yes, this does change the flow of my evening, but now it's social. If I am going with other people, then that actually feels like fun. And it's something we can enjoy. We can talk, we can have jokes, and afterwards we can even share dinner together. So that is my answer to doing weights at the gym. It's support. What does this approach include? It means I'm being curious. I'm curious rather than self-critical. I'm not saying I'm lazy. I'm curious. How could I make this work? And consistency over intensity. I don't need to do it hard. I just need to start and get in the door and just do a couple of exercises, and that will build over time. I've seen this with my clients. I've seen it with myself with everything new that I've tried. It comes down to is relational support. My change, my desire is being acknowledged, is being witnessed by others. I'm being encouraged. I don't have to do it alone. And then suddenly, this new habit doesn't feel so heavy. Support is what really matters the most in habit change. This is what I see again and again in my work. Lasting change is rarely about trying harder. It's about creating conditions that make change feel safer and more sustainable. Makes your nervous system like, oh, I can do this. It's about supportive relationships. It's about having a compassionate structure, being on one's own side, recognizing, okay, this feels hard. How can I make this a little easier? And it's about guidance that meets us where we're at, whoever that guide, whoever that person is for you. So frankly, this is where friendships, mentors, family relationships, coaching, community-based support can be really helpful. If you're curious, this is where a coach comes in. A coach is about moving forward, and coaching offers a space to explore what's underneath the habits. What's underneath the parts of us that want to say yes to something and the parts that want to say no. We inquire, why does that part want to say no? How can we help that part feel like this change is okay and how we can move into it? That's exactly what coaching is about. And the other thing I'll mention is that I offer an ongoing membership. My Vibrant Soulful membership is group support. So we show up several times a week to do yoga together, and we chat about what's going on in our lives. And that support offers accountability, encouragement, and we have a rhythm. Support isn't a fix, but it's having a companion on the path. In closing, I just want to encourage you to embrace a kinder way forward as you move through January and eventually move into February. If you have struggled to maintain habits in the past, there's nothing wrong with you. You are 100% normal. You're human. And you just might need a little bit more support. It's not willpower that you need, it's support. And as you think about the changes that you are hoping to make this year, you might just ask yourself, what kind of support would help this feel more possible? And that question alone can open the door to a kinder, more sustainable path forward. And if approaching change resonates with you, you don't have to do it alone. Find somebody to help you out. I would be honored to be that person for you. And I'm sure you have other people in your life who do as well. So there you go. That's my pep talk for you for January, that you can make changes, but it's not going to be with your willpower. It's going to be through support and through understanding yourself. Thanks for joining me for this first episode of 2026. If you like this episode and you would like to hear more of the Vibrant Soulful Wellness Podcast episodes, you can subscribe to this podcast on Spotify. You can also head over to my website, www.vibrantsoulful.com, where you can hear more episodes. You can join my weekly newsletter and get other wellness resources. Here's to you. I am cheering you on in 2026.